All right, so I wanted to do a quick video on having a clinical background versus having a sales background, and then what is, sort of the best, sort of what people are looking for, and sort of how, whatever you have done or whatever background you have can be molded into, getting a job offer, a actual job, and just during the interview process itself. So, the ultimate goal at the end of the day is going to be growing the business for you. So, you obviously, if you can show to an employer that you have documented sales success, they are going to look at you in a positive light because they know that you can talk to people, make relationships, follow through on your obligations. Because if you are selling a product to somebody, there has to be a gain for that person that is either purchasing it from you or getting your services. So, if you do that enough times over and over and over again, that's going to lead to the documented sales success, and that's going to be a big thing for when you can follow through to a customer. But on the flip side, having an extremely savvy clinical background will help you out a lot for things like hardware and instrumentation and those sort of kinds of medical device sales. Because if you're someone that already knows, the instrumentation, the procedures, the clinical side of things, you can kind of walk right into that OR and know exactly what you're doing off the bat, which is very, very helpful for a company. So those are kind of the two things. You can have a clinical background, sales background, and obviously if you come from a medical sales background, that actually has that, type of category to it. Like, let's say, for example, you're in spine, you're from one company, you're trying to go to another company, and they see that you have spine experience. That's very easy for them to see that you'd probably be a good candidate for the role. So, for example, when you first take a job, if you do not have a clinical background, it's obviously going to take you a much longer time to learn the ropes with that, because you have to be clinically savvy to talk to a surgeon, because you have to know what you're talking about. If you don't know what you're talking about and go to him and say something that doesn't even make sense, that's going to be a bad day for you, the surgeon, and the patient. So in order to be effective at selling what you're trying to sell, in my opinion, you have to be clinically strong first. So I think the clinical strength, you have to have that foundation in what you're selling in order to actually do the selling itself. So to get from point A, you have to know your stuff. And from knowing your stuff, then you can take it to other people and provide a better service for them. So that's not to say without, if you have a sales background, it will obviously get you in the door and interview a little bit more. But to become very effective at what you're selling, you're going to have to be a clinical expert at it. So my advice to you, if you're going to pick a specific niche that you want to get into, you want to get into it, start researching it now. If it's something like spine, foot and ankle, joint replacements, those kind of things, start doing your research on it. Find someone who is in that space itself and then pick their brain on it, figure out what you should do to make yourself a little bit more knowledgeable. This is going to help you with job interviews, so you at least know what you're talking about, and then the hiring manager will know that, you're interested and ready to, do what it takes to get to the next steps. So that's all for me today. Feel free to reach out, LinkedIn, email, any of the above. Be happy to chat with you. Thanks.